For dinner tonight, we're going to have fishless fish and chips. I really like these, even though they're fishless. They just taste really good. So we're having these. These are our chips, the McCain Quick Cook Tater Tots. So this should take about 15 or 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Instead of coleslaw, I'm going to do this dill pickle chopped salad kit. And because my steamer is dirty, normally I would have some steamed vegetables to go with it, but tonight I'm just going to do some of these Italian green beans. So that's what we are having for a quick, easy dinner tonight. And this dinner comes in around $10, which is kind of high, but for us it's kind of high. But if you can eat dinner for less than $10 a night, you're doing really good in 2024. So these are about $4. This was about $3. This was $2. Now, usually I don't pay that much for it, but I was at Walmart and I had a gift card, so I got that. And then the tater tots, the portion size is 9, but there's 10 here for each of us. So they come in less than $1 when you're counting the portion size of them. So that makes everything around $10, which is a very good bargain for dinner. So that's what we're having tonight. Let's get to cooking. I've got the oven preheating to 400. It's at 300. That's close enough. We're going to put it in the oven. And here it is. Fishless fish, tater tots, Italian green beans, and the dill pickle salad coleslaw type stuff. So there's our dinner. Quick and easy. Took less than 20 minutes. For dinner tonight, I'm going to make fajitas. I have a green bell pepper and an orange one. I don't have a yellow one, so I'm going to use a yellow squash. I have an onion that I'm going to use. I'm going to use these chicken strips, but I also have half of an onion because we like a lot of onions. So I'm going to do 1½ onions. I've got some brown rice cooking in this pan. So I put in 2/3 of a cup of brown rice, or any measurement, and then whatever measurement of brown rice I do double the water and a little tiny pat of butter. I turn it on low, I put the lid on it, and I let it cook for about 35 minutes, and it comes out pretty much perfect every time. So I've got my rice going, I've got my oven heating up, and then we're going to also have some black beans. So I'm going to chop up all the vegetables, or slice them up, and put them on a sheet pan and put them in the oven to cook at about 385 for about the same amount of time, 35 minutes. And then I'm going to put the chicken strips in my skillet because they're already cooked, and I'll just warm them up. So let's get to cooking. And I'm using this as my favorite fajita seasoning mix, the McCormick. So let's get to cooking. Fajitas are out of the oven. They do get a little blackened, but they are good. And the chicken is done. The rice is fluffy and perfect. The black beans are warmed up, and the tortillas are being warmed up now in the skillet. So they're ready. It's time to eat. And it is ready. Fajitas, brown rice, black beans, and to go with our fajitas, I've got sour cream, salsa, and we're having healthy red wine. So that's what we are having for dinner tonight. Yummy fajitas. For dinner tonight on Friday night, we are having baby back ribs from Lucilles. So this works out to be a really good deal because what we do is we get gift cards from Lucilles, which you can get like a $100 gift card there for $70, which is like 30% off. So here's how it breaks down. So it's $32 for the baby back ribs. When you use the gift card, you take 30% off of that, makes it $22.40. I had a 10 off 30 coupon. So that means we paid $12.40 for our takeout. And this isn't just for one night. We usually get 2 nights of dinners with this. So that equals about $6.20 per night for 2 people, which is amazing. Really, really fantastic deal. Now, I do fortify the beans with my own extra beans because we like it real beany. And so that adds another 50 cents worth of beans. But just a really fantastic deal on takeout meal. you just really can't beat it. So that's what we're having. We've got baby back ribs, greens, beans, and we also have a biscuit. So happy Friday. For dinner tonight, on Saturday night, we're having our leftover Lucilles. I did fortify our beans with more beans, and our greens had to be fortified with some yellow squash and steamed zucchini. And they only gave us one biscuit, so we had to warm up some leftover crescent rolls as our biscuits. But that is our dinner for Saturday night, so we've gotten almost 2 meals out of it. We did have to fortify it, but that's okay. So ribs it is for dinner tonight. For dinner tonight, I made chicken tacos, black beans, and leftover brown rice. And we have salsa and all kinds of accoutrements. So happy Taco Sunday. For dinner tonight, we're having Lucille's Takeout again. It's just such a good value that they offered us another 10 off 30 coupon due to the eclipse today, which we did see it, but it really wasn't that much for us here in California, but they gave us a 10 off 30. So we got our usual, the baby back ribs with greens and beans, and I have extra beans in there. And then this is macaroni and cheese, which is one of the Lean Cuisine dinners, which is very, very good. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Happy Eclipse Monday. All right, for lunch we are having Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and I'm having a fruit cup. So the Chick-fil-A sandwiches were free. I think the Angels got 7 to run, so we got a free Chick-fil-A, and we like to put our own lettuce and tomato on it. And then I ordered a fruit cup using my points, and I've got some buffalo sauce, and I have my own drink. So that's what we are having for lunch on Tuesday. For dinner tonight, we're having leftover Lucilles, the leftover greens, leftover beans fortified with more beans that were leftover black beans and pinto beans. And instead of mac and cheese tonight, we're having the sweet kale salad. So that's what we're having tonight. Happy Tuesday night. It's not Taco Tuesday. For dinner tonight, I'm going to use some of the leftover ham that we have left over from Easter. Ham lasts a long time. It's got a lot of salt, it's cured, and it will last a very long time. So I'm going to use some of this. I'm going to chop up the ham, and I'm going to brown it up in a pan. I'm going to add some diced onions, some diced bell pepper, some mushrooms that really need to be used up. And I'm going to heat that all up in a pan. I'm going to add some cream cheese, and I'm going to add some cheese until that all comes together. I'm going to melt the cream cheese in the skillet when it gets warm. Then I'm going to take my crescents, and I'm going to spread them out and make them into squares. And we're going to put the mixture inside the squares and then fold them up. And we're going to have ham and cheese crescent squares. So let's get to cooking. Okay, so for the crescents, I just separated them into 4 pieces. And we're going to put the filling in there. So the ham, and I also put celery in it. Ham, onions, green/orange bell pepper, and celery. And now that's been cooking up for a while, so we're going to add about a half a block of cream cheese so we can melt that. And then we're going to add this cheese and mix it all together and put it into the crescents. And we also have steamed broccoli on the side. Okay, so we put them in here. I put like a couple of tablespoons inside or on top of the crescent. And now we're going to fold them up, fold the corners over. And then we're going to put them in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes. Okay, they're done and out of the oven. They only took about 10 minutes, so I would not leave them in for 20 minutes. They are very golden brown, and they look really delicious. And we also have our steamed broccolis ready. And here's the crescent ham cheese pocket and the steamed broccoli, and we also have some leftover kale salad that we're going to finish up. So that is what we are having for dinner tonight. Happy, I don't know what today is. Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hi everyone. So tonight for dinner we're going to be having a manwich sloppy joes. I've got my ground beef going. So I always wanted one of these wheat meat masher things, and these were at Dollar Tree. So I got one of these for $1.25, which is a really good deal. I'm really happy about that because I don't know how much they were, but I know they were a lot and I didn't want to pay a lot. But they do good at mashing up the meat. So we're going to make sloppy joes. I've got some green beans that we're going to have, canned green beans. I got my buns ready, and I have tater tots in the oven. So that's what we're having tonight, just an easy quick dinner for our Friday night. It's really exciting around here on Friday nights. And we are having the sloppy joes, tater tots, and green beans. Sometimes you just need a slops and tots kind of night. Quick, easy, not a lot of thinking, just throw it on the table and it's ready, and it's delicious too. So that's what we're having tonight on Friday night. For dinner tonight, I'm going to have ham bone bean soup, although I'm not going to use the bone, I'm just going to use ham. I've got all my beans. I soaked them last night. I just now rinsed them, and now I'm just going to put water on them and let them cook on high for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm going to add my vegetables and my ham. So let's get to cooking. It's 7:30 in the morning. To go with my bean soup, I'm going to make some cornbread. So I've got some flour that there's not much left in there. I want to get that used up. And I'm going to do cornmeal, egg, oil, Bisquick if I need some more. And I'm going to get my baking powder out, and I'm also going to add milk. I kind of roughly follow this recipe. So I'll use about, I don't use as much flour as it calls for. I use more cornmeal than flour. And I don't put as much sugar as they call for. I just do a little bit of sugar. So we're going to make some cornbread. I'm going to put it in here and then put it in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes. And the bean soup is really looking good. After about 4 hours, I put in some carrots, celery, onions, and I diced up the ham and put it in. And then I wanted to put in a can of tomatoes. I didn't have any, so I put in Rotel, which is just tomatoes and green chilies. Bean soup and cornbread is what we're having tonight on this cold, rainy Southern California day. Oh, it just started raining outside. So happy Saturday night. Sloppy joes, leftover slops and tots for dinner tonight. So we still had some sloppy joe meat, so we'll just have that. And we have new fresh tater tots and green beans. So that's what we're having for dinner on a really cold Sunday evening. So happy Sunday. I'm going to make cornbread because we're going to have leftover bean soup for lunch. So in my bowl I have an egg and some oil. I didn't even measure it. I just kind of put it in there. It's probably a couple of tablespoons. I've got just a little bit of leftover flour from that bag that I used a few days ago. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to use some Bisquick, some cornmeal, and some milk. The reason I put it in a glass is there's a mixture of some Silk almond protein milk with some oat milk, and they're really thick and they're kind of old. I want to make sure they taste okay, and they did. And then just some regular almond / oat milk because that's what I have and I want to use that up. So I'll use about, I'll make that to be about a cup, and then I'll use about a cup of cornmeal, maybe a little bit more, and I'll put some baking powder in it just because this doesn't have anything in it, just flour, and I'll put a little bit of salt in it, and then I'll put the Bisquick in. So we'll make some cornbread. I have my pan sprayed here with this butter flavored cooking spray. This is not my favorite at all, but it does really make it non-stick, and I need to use it up because I've had it a long time. So let's get to making cornbread. I also have some packets of sugar. I'm going to put 2 of these packs of sugar in it also. And we're going to bake it in the oven at 400 for about 20 minutes. Ham bean soup and hot fresh cornbread for lunch today. For dinner tonight, we are having free Chick-fil-A's because something happened with the Clippers and we got a free Chick-fil-A. And we're having our own tater tots, and we have lettuce, tomato, and onion to go on our Chick-fil-A. And that's what we're having for dinner tonight. So happy Monday. For dinner tonight, I'm going to make some of this Italian sausage ravioli pasta bake. I'm going to layer it in this baking dish that I've sprayed with that butter cooking spray that I don't like, but it does really make it non-stick. Everything just slides right off. So I'm going to use that. I've got this pasta sauce that's not my favorite, but it was free, so I'm going to use it. And I also am going to mix it with, I'm not going to mix it, I'm just going to layer it all and put some Alfredo also. I've got a bunch of cheeses to use. I've got these frozen mozzarella sticks that I'm going to use up. I've got a Baby Bell that I'm going to use up. If this Baby Swiss is mold free, I'm going to use some of that. I've got some mozzarella cheese and some Italian style cheese I'm going to use. And I'm going to also put in onion, and I want to use up this yellow squash and zucchini, and I'm going to chop up some of this and put it in there. And we're going to bake it at 350 for about an hour until it's golden brown, bubbly, hot, and delicious. So let's get to cooking. Okay, it's very vegetable-y and saucy, and now we're going to finish it off with cheese and cover it and bake it in the oven. And all the cheese was good. The Swiss cheese did not have any mold on it at all. It was a little bit dry on the edges, but that's okay. That works fine in a casserole. So everything was good. So let's put it in the oven and bake it up. And I'm also going to make some garlic bread out of this bread that was in the back of my refrigerator. And we're also going to have dill pickle salad to go with it. It's out of the oven. It's a little bit soupy. I added about half a cup of water, but I really should not have done that. So it is a little soupy, but I like it saucy. So, and when it's left over, it won't be as soupy. But it smells and looks so delicious, so let's plate it up. And here it is, the ravioli baked dill pickle salad and garlic bread is what's for dinner tonight. Happy Wednesday. For breakfast on Thursday morning, we're having mangled waffles and fruit medley of blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, and bananas, eggs and veggie sausage, and hot, good, strong black coffee. So happy Thursday morning breakfast. For dinner tonight, on Thursday night, I'm going to make some beef tacos. So I'm going to use the beef tips from these Hormels. I've got some taco shells that need to be used up. I'm going to do black beans, cilantro, lime rice. This is the shredded cheese, and I have lettuce and tomato and onions. So that's what we're going to have for dinner tonight is tacos. Let's get to cooking. tacos, cilantro lime rice, and black beans is what's for dinner tonight. Happy Thursday night. Dinner tonight is leftover ravioli, pasta bake that's really soupy, so it's kind of like ravioli soup, mangled garlic bread hot dog bun, and Caesar salad. So happy Saturday. For dinner tonight, we're going to have another ravioli bake. So I put in a bunch of leftover power greens. I put in the rest of the ravioli and the rest of the sauces from a few nights ago. And I am going to, I don't have Italian cheese, so I'm just using the Mexican blend. And I'm going to put this feta cheese in it too, because it needs to be used up. And that's what we're going to have for dinner tonight, another ravioli pasta bake. Okay, so this family size one was really big, and I should have froze half of it. So if I get it again, that's what I'll do. I'll only cook half of it and then freeze the other half. But we're going to go ahead and cook it up and have it again tonight for dinner. Here it is, the ravioli bake salad. It's just lettuce and tomato and garlic bread. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight on Sunday night. All right, for dinner on Monday, it is now Monday morning. This isn't anything new. I make this quite often. This is one of our favorites. I'm going to do steak and gravy in the crock pot. Well, I think I am. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to put these steaks in. I'm going to put 3 of them in the crock pot with some sliced onion and let that cook on low for 6 or 7 hours. And then if I feel like we're going to have steak and gravy, I'm going to put a can of cream of something soup on them. And I'm also going to put the sliced onion on top. It's just going to smell really good cooking all day. So that's what we're going to have tonight. Maybe. I might do Swiss steak, which is the steak in the crock pot with the sliced onion, and then a can of tomato soup and a can of tomatoes. It makes a really good, rich, tomatoey gravy. So I'll put the steaks in and let them get going and then think about it. And I do want to add, I'm only going to put 3 in there. The other one, I'm going to slide it into the freezer. And I have a lot of peppers. So at some point in the future, I might use this to make fajitas, because 1 steak is plenty for fajitas. Or it'll just be in the freezer for any kind of good meal. I also like to use 1 of these if I'm making a big crock pot of soup, because 1 of these will go a long way when you add a bunch of vegetables. It makes a nice big pot of soup, and you only have to use 1. So we'll put this in the freezer for now and see what comes up. For dinner tonight, we're having more ravioli bake, Caesar salad, and garlic bread. So last night we did have steak and gravy, mashed potatoes, and green beans, but I had already eaten it before I remembered to do a video. But that's what we had last night, so this is what we're having Tuesday night. So happy Tuesday. It is not Taco Tuesday night, but we did have tacos for lunch. So it really is Taco Tuesday, just not for dinner. For dinner tonight, we are having frozen dinner. So this is a lean cuisine spaghetti and meat sauce. I have Caesar salad and garlic bread. And darling husband has lasagna and garlic bread, and he will scoop up his salad. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight. For dinner tonight, I'm going to make some soup in the crock pot. It's a dark, dreary, cloudy, rainy looking day here. So I've got my 1 steak in the crock pot with some onion, and I'm going to use some of this savory pot roast seasoning mix. I've got a potato, carrot, celery. I've got some corn that was in the freezer and some green sweet peas that were in the freezer. So we're going to put it all in the crock pot and make a crock pot full of soup today. The soup is looking really, really good. I put broccoli in it. I put a can of crushed tomatoes. I put a zucchini in it. And can't remember what all I put in it. I put some onion powder, some black pepper, some broccoli, and it's looking really, really good. And it smells great. So to go with it, we're gonna make cornbread. So I've got Bisquick, milk, cornmeal, oil, and an egg, and I will put a little bit of sugar in it. I don't usually measure, I just put the egg in, put some oil in, put the milk in, cornmeal, and some Bisquick, stir it up, and bake it at 400 for about 20 minutes. So let's get to cooking our cornbread. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, that's about right. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of sugar in it. I'm going to pour it in this pan that I sprayed with cooking spray, which is finally the end of the cooking spray. I'm so happy. And then we will put it in the oven. I'm going to put 2 packets of sugar in it. It came out perfect and golden brown and smells delightful. So we'll cut it up and have it with our cornbread. I mean, we'll cut it up and have it with our soup. And it lifts really easy out of the pan. So, soup and cornbread coming up. Vegetable beef soup. Mangled cornbread is what's for dinner tonight. For dinner tonight, we're having a leftover soup, which is even better tonight, and kale cranberry salad, mangled, very mangled hot fresh cornbread. And that's what we're having tonight, Saturday night. For dinner tonight, we are having taquitos, refried beans, brown rice, and cauliflower mixed together. And for our taquitos, we've got sour cream, salsa, and we've got this avocado salsa. So we're going to have that because we don't have any guacamole. So we're going to have that. So happy Sunday night dinner. For lunch today, we are going to finish off our soup and eat some leftover cornbread. And this is the last of the soup. So that's what we're having for lunch today on Monday. For dinner tonight, we're going to have Kung Pao chicken. I'm going to try this Kung Pao stir fry sauce. And I have a lot of vegetables that I like to add to it. So I've got zucchini, celery, white onion, some really limp green onion, but it's okay, yellow squash, carrots, and cabbage. And I'm going to start dicing up my chicken, and I'm going to saute that up and get that cooked. And then in a separate pan, I'm going to be doing the vegetables because I like my vegetables cooked. And then once it's all cooked, I'll put the sauce in it and combine it all together. I have my brown rice going, which is 1/2 cup of brown rice with 1 cup of water. And then I just put it on low, and it takes about 35 minutes to get fully cooked and really good. So let's get to chopping and cooking and making our Kung Pao. I also have peanuts too. You're supposed to put peanuts in it, so I'm going to dice these up and sprinkle peanuts on top. And here it is, Kung Pao chicken and brown rice and heart healthy red wine for dinner on Monday night. So happy Monday. It would be really nice if we had a spring roll to go with it, but we don't have one today. But this is still going to be good. So happy Monday. For dinner tonight, we are having fajitas. So I have my bell peppers and onions all cut up. I'm going to sprinkle this on it with a little bit of oil and water so it'll help it stick. Put it in the oven at 395 for about 20 to 30 minutes. And I also have some leftover chicken, and I want to use up this leftover chicken, and so that's why we're going to have fajitas. And I have cilantro lime rice going and some leftover beans, but they need a little more, so I fortified them with a little bit more. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight, is kind of a hodgepodge of some leftover stuff mixed with some new stuff. So let's get to cooking. And here are our fajitas, our cilantro lime rice, and refried beans with a little bit of cheese sprinkled on top. So that's what we're having for dinner on Taco Fajita Tuesday. For dinner tonight, I am making sloppy joes. So I've got my ground beef going. I'm going to put in some manwich. I've got green beans, and we are putting tater tots in the oven. So that's what we're having tonight. Let's get to cooking. For dinner tonight, I am having a taco salad, and that's what I'm having tonight, is just me. So it's dinner for one. Very easy, and it looks really, really good. So excited for my taco salad. So I have avocado on top. I've got lettuce, tomato, onion. I've got nacho cheese, Weight Watcher chips on the bottom with some cut up chicken and a few dollops of refried beans and some shredded cheese. So very excited for this dinner tonight.